Okay, let's start the correction for lecture test. Okay, you are given that the diagram show a cross-section area, cross-section of a vase. The curved part of vase is part of a hyperbola. So highlight keyword, part of a hyperbola. The height of the vase, the radius of the circular top, the narrowest part have a width of 8 cm, and this occurs at a height of 18 cm above the base. Okay, continue. By taking the origin to be the center of the base, okay, find the equation of h and the radius of the circular base. Okay, so take note there's two parts of the question. Number one, equation of h, two, radius of the base. Okay, so to find equation of h, let's go back to what is h then. Okay, question say h is a hyperbola. So let's write down the standard equation for hyperbola. So these are the two. Okay, you don't have to memorize because you can retrieve it from your GC, but it will be good because if you memorize, it will be quite fast to retrieve from your memory. Okay, so let's go on. Okay, so these are my two equations. Okay, so if I want to find these two equations, let's see whether we can draw in our axis. Okay, so this is when you look at this information, which I put a lot of star there. Origin to be at the center of the base. Okay, so agree with me if I have to write my origin. This will be where my origin is. Okay, which is at the center of the base. Okay, so if I'm at the center of the base, origin, okay, agree with me that my x-axis have no choice, but have to be drawn in this way, which is at the base. Okay, and of course my y-axis cut right through the center of the vase. Okay, take note of this information because many of you draw it wrongly, okay, which I'm going to draw, this is what some of you did. You draw your x-axis here, which is wrong. It is at the center of the base, it's not at the center of the vase. Okay, so please read the question carefully. Okay, so I'm going to erase the wrong one. Okay, so with this information, let's try to see whether we can decide which equation to use. Okay, so let's take a look at the equation. We have equation 1, equation 2. Okay, what's the difference between the both of them? Can you see one of it, the x is positive, the other one, y is the one with the positive. Okay, so recall the one with the positive will tell you whether your graph, for example, the first one, x being positive means that you have your graph left, right. Y being positive for the second equation means your graph will be up, down. Okay, so based on what we have drawn here, can you see my graph is of a left, right? So which means my equation should be the first one. So allow me to erase the second one first. Okay, so focus at the first equation. My main aim will be to find what is my h, k, a, and b. Okay, so let's try to interpret what does h, k, a, and b stand for. In particular, hk, if you recall, is the center of the hyperbola, or we can also say it's the intersection of your asymptote. Okay, so where's the center of the hyperbola? Okay, if you actually know your hyperbola, you do agree with me. Okay, the center of the hyperbola is where is the narrowest part. So therefore, see this highlighted in blue. The narrow part of the vase have a width of 8 cm. So this is where it's at the narrowest part. So I'm going to mark out my center in red. Okay, so this is the center of your hyperbola. Okay, so h and k refers to the coordinate, right? So if I take a look at my coordinate, agree with me since it's on the y-axis, okay, my x coordinate in this case must be 0. So therefore I can fill it in. H should be 0. Okay, next one is fill in my y coordinate. So if you take a look at this part, y coordinate means reference from the origin, right? So reference from my origin, this is my k coordinates, okay, which is my height. In this case is 18. So therefore k is 18. Okay, now what about my a and b then? Okay, recall, okay, in this case, right, a is under x, so which means in this case it stands for the horizontal length from the center of the hyperbola. Okay, so therefore, allow me to erase first. Okay, horizontal length from the center of the hyperbola. Okay, so if I have to draw, mark out in green, this is my center to my narrowest part. So this will be the length from the center. So in this case, agree with me, it will be given by 8 divided by 2, which will be 4. So therefore, I can fill in my a as well, which is 4 in this case. Okay, do you think I can fill in my B? Okay, in this case, B, we cannot fill it in because we do not have a up, down graph. We have a left, right graph. Okay, so how are we going to find B then? Okay, so allow me to go down to show you after we have finished H and K and your A. Okay, after we have filled in my equation, agree with me, I will have an equation become x squared over 4 squared minus y minus 18 squared over b squared equals to 1. Okay, I'm stuck with having to find b now, so agree with me if I'm able to find a pair of coordinate because x and y stand for a pair of coordinate that's on your graph. So if I pair a coordinate that's on my graph, right, I'll be able to form one equation containing b to solve for my b. Okay, so let's take a look at my diagram. Do you have any coordinates, okay, that's on the graph? Okay, basically we can see that, okay, to find the coordinates, can you see that I have many points? One of the point I'm going to highlight in green, this top portion here. Okay, so what about this coordinate over here? Okay, reference to my x-axis, this part here is actually 5, so therefore this x coordinate should be 5. Okay, what about the y coordinate? Okay, can you see that the y coordinate is referring to this height here, so this one should be 24.75. Similarly, the other side by symmetry, minus 5, 24.75. So these are two coordinates that I can use. Okay, so over here, we can sub either of the coordinate into my equation of h. Okay, the rest is just solving. In particular, we can solve for b squared. We don't need b exactly. Okay, so hence equation of the hyperbola is given as such. Okay, continue. Now I'm going to move on to the next point, which is find the radius of the circular base. Okay, so where's the radius of a circular base? Allow me to highlight in yellow. Agree with me, radius is actually this portion here of my base. Okay, so take a look at your this base here. Can you see that your base is actually intercepting the x-axis? Your coordinate intercept at the x-axis. Correct? So which means, right, all you need to do is find the x coordinate. Okay, if I want to find where it cut the x-axis, agree with me, this is when my y is equal to 0. Correct? So therefore, all you need to do, sub in y equals to 0 into your equation of a hyperbola, solve for your x. Okay, always remember when you solve, there should always be a plus minus. Okay, so answer in context with the question, in this case, x stands for the horizontal radius. So can we have radius negative? Cannot. So my answer should be only the positive. Okay, so that's the end for question 1.